50 told me go ahead, switch the style up, and if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up.
Yo, what's greasing, fellas? I am back. It's been a hot minute. I'm here with a new video, boys, a very important video. I'm talking about the all-inclusive PvP Frost DK guide for Season 2, The War Within. Alright, guys. Now, some of y'all might not know me. If that's the case, I'm Frost God Xeek, okay? I'm a multi-rank 1 Frost DK main. You don't see a lot of Frost DK mains these days, alright? We're a dying breed, but not anymore, boys, okay? We're about to change that this season. So, I got rank 1 every season of Dragonflight in Shuffle and 3v3 Arena. And same for last season, The War Within, okay, boys? So you definitely want to hear what I got to say about this shit. So check this shit out, alright? Let's get into the game. Alright, so first off, what do we got here? We're gonna cover the talents, okay? So this season, in my opinion, I think you're gonna be playing a lot of dual wield mainly, okay? I think dual wield has really taken the lead over two-hand this season, like more than usual, okay? Now, it doesn't mean you can't play two-hand, but I'll cover two-hand later, okay? Two-hand can be some fun shit and can be good in certain comps, okay? Anyways, let's look at the talents. A lot has changed. A lot, but not much, okay? It's more like just one thing has changed, but it's a pretty big thing. And I'm gonna cover that after, because it's a PvP talent. So, first main thing we see on the talents, right, is we used to play these three talents last season. We're not doing that anymore. We're playing Hyperpyrexia. You can play Shattered Frost, but we're gonna go down this route. Hyperpyrexia for dual wield. You're just gonna get some extra little dot damage on your Frost Strikes and your Glacial Advance procs, shit like that. Nothing really important. The main thing about not playing these three talents here is that you're not building crit anymore, okay? Now, I'll get into the stat pile right after this, but basically you're not building crit, so you don't care about extending the long winter, and it kind of ties into your PvP talent, the new one. Maybe I should cover it right now because it's kind of relevant. So, the Pillar of Frost grants your Remorseless Winter and increases damage by 400%, and its radius by 150%, but your movement speed is heavily reduced for its duration. So you're basically going to be waddling, like straight up RP walking during Pillar of Frost. Gets pretty annoying, but it also does a fuck ton of damage. So it can be, you know, it can be pretty fun sometimes. But your cooldown on the Pillar of Frost increased by 15 seconds, making us a 1 minute go spec again, okay? So we're not doing 45-second pillars anymore. You're doing goes every minute. Now, also, I do want to show you guys the full talents here, but my overlay is blocking it off, so there you go. See that in the corner right there? Check that out. That's it. All right, we're turning the camera back on, boys. We are back. So yeah. So talent-wise, like these talents, nothing has really changed at all, okay? It's literally just this. And we're going to play some slightly different talents in the Frost section. Now this talent, I'm going to show you what it looks like, okay guys? It's like you get a free Remorseless Winter when you pop Pillar, but this Remorseless Winter is very potent, okay? This ain't your average everyday Remorseless Winter. I'm going to show you, okay? This is a regular Remorseless Winter, and this is when you pop Pillar, bro. It's gigantic. It's a huge radius. You're super slow. Death's Advance and Death Charge do not increase your speed during this. Same with Wraith Walk, okay? Wraith Walk does not do nothing. But there are some things you can do to actually still get movement speed during that burst, and I'm going to cover that in the racial section. You guys already might know what I'm talking about here. It's some crazy shit. But, you know, stay tuned for that. Anyways, just to cover the general thing, like not the changes in the talent tree, but just, you know, overall, in the Frost tree, the main important thing to know is we're playing Shattering Blade. This is basically just going to work with your Razor Ice Runeforge to add stacks of Razor Ice to your target. Every time you Frost Strike with 5 stacks, it's going to consume the Razor Ice to do more damage on the Frost Strike. So I'll show you. So right here, 5 stacks. You Frost Strike, it takes it off, but the Frost Strike does way more damage. It's really good. you can literally hit like 4 million frost strikes, bro, and I'm not even exaggerating, because I hit one yesterday. Crazy fucking shit, boys. Now, anyways, PvP talents. This is the new talent. It replaces Remorseless Winter Stun, so I forgot to cover that. Remorseless Winter Stun was a really big part of our kit, okay? But I don't know if y'all play Rogue, y'all know about Rogue. That's like taking out Cheap Shot from a fucking sub Rogue, bro. You just don't do that shit. But Blizzard went and did it anyways. But you know what? This talent's pretty fucking fun, pretty hype. Does a ton of damage, and it has some good moments, okay? And honestly, in my opinion, I think it's going to make Frost DK easier to play, especially at the lower ratings. A lot of people didn't really utilize Remorseless Stun to its full potential. And even when used to its full potential, sometimes, you know, it's not the greatest stun. It's very easy to outplay. So, it is what it is. But, you know, it's the future now, boys. The War Within Season 2, prize season. Big things are happening for the Frost DK boys, okay? Now, for the other PvP talents, generally, ideally, okay, if you don't need anything else, you're going to want this lineup, okay? Death Chill, Strangulate, and Death's Cold Embrace. Death's Cold Embrace has a very good synergy with Death Chill because, as you know, when you press Remorseless Winter with Death Chill, you root everyone around you. Now, Death's Cold Embrace basically gives you an off-global cooldown Remorseless Winter, and that's also going to root people. So when you pop Pillar, right when you pop it, everyone around you is going to get rooted. And that's pretty useful for keeping people stuck in this Remorseless Winter talent. And remember, this Remorseless Winter talent, since you move so slow, it's very easy to get kited out on it. And if you get kited out, you're basically losing your whole burst window. So you want to make sure that you get to stick onto at least one target, even if it's not the ideal target. You want to stick onto the right target, and or stick onto any target. Sorry, because if you're kited, bro, it's really bad. There are times where I actually have to cancel my Pillar of Frost. Like, I have a macro to cancel Pillar of Frost whenever I'm getting kited out, because you'll actually be waddling for a good like 6 seconds when you could just be running at the target. It's bad. So, moral of the story, save at least one death charge for your Pillar of Frost go, and try and save at least one grip. You can also save A-Bomb Limb for that go. Basically, you just want as many fail safes as you can have to prevent a scenario where, let's say you pop Pillar and you get knocked, and now you're like getting kited out, you can't even hit the guy. And you gotta remember, guys, Frost DK is still a very burst focused spec. So if you get knocked on your go and you don't get any value out of that Pillar of Frost, you're going to be at a massive disadvantage compared to like a Fury Warrior who's just popping Avatar, who doesn't give a fuck if he gets CC'd on his burst, because he still does good damage outside of his burst, right? So try and save Death Charge. Even though it does not give you extra speed during Pillar, it will make you immune to knockbacks. Death Grip, you do need to use one grip usually for a grip blind go, and I'm going to cover that grip blind go. It's a lot more simple than it was last season. As you guys know, I have a burst guide on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link to it down below in the description. But, you know, last season it was like you would grip blind, Death and Decay, Remorseless Winter, Dragon Stun, all this crazy shit. Right now, you don't even really have to grip blind, but it's good in certain threes comps where your teammate has a stun, like a Windwalker or a Dev Evoker, or you're playing with a Shaman who has Cap Totem. It's still good to do a grip blind, but you don't want to use both grips for the grip blind. In a perfect world, you can just hit one grip into a blind, and they're all stacked, and you can do the thing, okay? Now, once you actually get the blind, it's a lot more simple, like I said. You don't have to even Death and Decay. You don't have to pre-Remorseless Winter. You can literally just grip blind into a Frostworm's Fury to stun everyone, and then you can pop Pillar. And that Frostworm's Fury is going to stun and slow everyone. It's going to make it a lot easier to not get kited and stay on target. You can also pop an A-Bomb Limb during the blind. This is not a bad idea. It's really up to you. Now, if I see that I have the extra time to do this, I will drop a Death and Decay on the blind go, because it'll add a nice slow, but it's totally not required. A-bomb limb is probably the main thing. Like if you have A-bomb limb and you get that grip blind, or just pop A-bomb limb, it'll really help stick onto the target. Okay, boys. Now, of course, you only have Frostworm's Fury every minute and a half, so there's a lot of things you can do. Usually, you'll play a 3s comp where your partner has a stun, or even a 2s comp. You know, Prez Evokers and Arshams can stun for you. They can static totem to keep people in. So, when you don't have your dragon stun, just make sure your team, your boys got your back, okay? Because you're not really going to have a reliable way to lock them down. You can use A-bomb limb. There are certain racials that stun people, you know, but if you don't have any exterior utility, you're basically just going to be doing like a grip blind into death and decay, pillar, and silence. And the second that silence is over, they can use whatever they want to use if you don't have your Frostworm's Fury stun. So it's really not the best. And the worst part is they can walk during that silence. They can walk away from you. So really make sure to save grips if you can, bro. If you can get away with not using any grips for the go, that's obviously a perfect scenario. But one grip should do the trick. One death charge to make sure you don't get knocked. Trust me, guys, if you get knocked, especially into Arshams, bro, you do a go into Arsham, you forget to death charge prior, you're going to get knocked. Your whole burst is going to go to waste. It's a terrible experience, boys. You don't want that to happen, okay? Anyways, that's it for the talents. I mean, you play A-bomb limb for here for the left side. It's like pretty generic stuff. Same stuff as last season. But, anyways, let's go into the stat prio, okay, boys? So, the stat prio this season, in simple terms, it's mastery, and then haste, and then verse, and then crit, okay? So, really, you only really care about mastery and haste, and you want to have some verse, of course. Enough verse where you're not getting one shot and shit. But, if we're talking specifics, okay? In my opinion, I think you want 22% haste, okay, boys? You want 22% haste, and then after you get 22% haste, you just go full mastery. And by full mastery, you know, those mastery pieces are going to have verse on them as well most of the time. So, in simple terms, bro, get 22% haste, and then dump everything else in mastery and some verse. Crit, you don't care about crit. You're going to unfortunately have a little bit of crit because of this on-use trinket. You really want this on-use trinket, the badge Jira, I like to call it. Does big fucking damn, bro. You macro it into your pillar, and you're just going to have so many modifiers right now. It's a ton of damage, okay? And literally, you only pop this on your pillar, so you can literally just macro it in, bro. You don't got to worry about it. So yeah, that's the stat prio. And by the way, the stat prio is the same exact thing if you're going to play two-hand. You don't have to worry about that. And I'll cover two-hand soon. Just for if anyone's clicking off the video ahead of time and they want to play their two-hand, they're not happy about dual wield, just know the stat prio is the same thing, so you can alternate between the two. I do it sometimes, bro, and it's not bad, you know? Sometimes I throw on a two-hander, bro. Look at that big-ass mace, bro. You know? So, anyways, Runeforges, that's the next thing. When you're playing dual wield, you have access to 2 Runeforges. So, for the main hand, you're going to want Razor Ice. And, offhand, you want Fallen Crusader. You never really change this. You know, you could change it if you really wanted to, but it's kind of like some hipster shit, and you probably will just end up missing out on damage. In my opinion, main hand Razor Ice, offhand Fallen Crusader. Stick with it, you'll be happy you did. Alright, fellas. Now, I do have a gearing guide for this exact season. I dropped it like a week ago, I think. And I'll put the link in the description to that. It's very specific, like telling you what exact pieces to buy. Now, obviously, it's like a week old, so like, you know, people are starting to get their tier sets now. Just to cover tier sets real quick, I think you're just going to want to get the 2 set, okay? If the crit you get from the 4 set is really not very desirable. Now, you can play 4 set. I don't really know yet. We haven't been able to test it much, but I'll tell you what, you can't go wrong with just 2 set, because the 2 set's important, and you get really good stats with the 2 set. And in simple terms, boys, what it does, it just gives you more frost strike damage, and it has some RNG elements to it, where every time you frost strike, you might lose that frost strike damage. It really doesn't change how you play at all. Sometimes you get giga frost strikes. That's about it. Now, the 4 set spices it up a little bit with adding in like a free proc for frost type. We don't really know how hard it's gonna hit, but of course it's nerfed in PvP as always. So I don't know, but if you really want to make sure your gear is perfect, just check out my Twitch channel at FrostGod Xeek. Ask me in like a week, am I playing 4 set, and I'll have an updated answer. I don't really think we're going to, but I could be wrong, you know. Now I want to give you guys the wrong info. Now let's talk about the dual wield rotation, okay? Now the dual wield rotation is the exact same thing as last season, and it's very simple, very, very simple, okay? Like, at its core, it's literally as simple as keep Howling Blast up most of the time for your Frost Fever, or keep the Frost Fever up most of the time with your Howling Blast, and then after that, it's literally just obliterate so that you can Frost Strike. When you can Frost Strike, you Frost Strike instead of obliterate. When you can't Frost Strike, you obliterate again so you can Frost Strike again. It's literally like, just think of it as like, just prioritize Frost Strike. And when you can't press it, press things that will give you Frost Strike. And now remember, obliterate gives runic, or obliterate generates 20 runic power. Chains of Ice generates runic power. Howling Blast generates it. So literally, you're just thinking about Frost Strikes. Now, that's at its core. There's a little bit more to it. Basically, the advanced part of it comes into the Razor Ice factor with Shattering Blade. And as you see, I have 5 stacks. When you have 5 stacks, your Frost Strike gets way harder. So if you're min-maxing, you want like a weak aura, something to tell you when you have 5 stacks on the target. And you basically want to be popping these as soon as possible, because this is how you're going to get really big Frost Strike crits, like 3 mil plus reliably, okay? And that's pretty much it. But even at that point, it's still just prioritize Frost Strike. Remorseless Winter is very, very irrelevant. The only thing you really care about Remorseless Winter for is either for the root from Death Chill or for stacking up Everfrost, okay? So there's a couple little tricks you can do. I'm gonna cover it real quick, but don't play around this too much. I swear you can like kind of outplay yourself when it comes to this part. But if you see you have a go really soon, okay? Say your Pillar and your Blind are about to be off cooldown, and you're training the healer. You have Remorseless Winter. You can pop it prior to stack up Everfrost, okay? And this basically just increases Remorseless Winter damage. It's nerfed in PvP, so it's only 30% when it's maxed out, I believe. And if you pop the big Pillar off of that, it will still keep that stacked up Everfrost. Now there's something else. There's Gathering Storm, okay? This talent right here, each rune spent during Remorseless Winter increases the damage of it by 10%, extends it by half a second. I think this talent's also nerfed in PvP, the damage aspect of it. But basically what you can do is, you see, this is Gathering Storm. Every time I spend runes during the Remorseless Winter, I'm increasing damage, okay? Now, if you have a Remorseless Winter active, and you have a fully stacked Gathering Storm or any stacks, if you pop Pillar before that Remorseless Winter ends, you will still keep that Gathering Storm buff. So it just basically saves you from having to stack up that buff and debuff. And so in a perfect world, if you see an opportunity to pre-stack like this, like look, I'm stacking up Everfrost, okay? Say I have a go right now, and Gathering Storm's at 60%, I'm gonna pop Pillar, I keep the Gathering Storm, and I keep the Everfrost. So now my Remorseless Winter is gonna do a good bit more damage. But at the end of the day, even though the Remorseless Winter does a ton of damage, it's really gonna be your Frost Strikes landing you kills. But this is a really good thing you can do if you see a window to do it. Just don't let it fuck up your go. Because when you're about to get the go, like there's just a lot of nuance to getting a Grip Blind go, especially when a healer is lining, trying to avoid that go. it's not the most important thing to worry about. Like, worry more about getting a clean go, getting all 3 people in, getting the healer and the DPS, you know, at least 2 people. That's the most important thing. If you're really comfortable with it, you can do some pre-stacking shit, which could add some extra damage, okay? But don't overthink it. I just want to cover that because the rotation's very simple. That part does not even matter. I'm telling you right now, you could literally take off Remorseless Winter off of your bars, and you could probably get a lot of rating still, okay? It's very irrelevant ability. You can do some cool shit with it, but it's totally not required. Now, bursting, okay? I covered bursting a little bit. I have a burst guide from last season, okay? And it's still relevant to this day. The only thing that changes is that you get a free Remorseless from Pillar, so you don't really need to pop Remorseless Winter on the blind. I'm gonna link that burst guide down below if you guys want to check it out. It puts it very simple, slowed down, explains global by global. Just check out the rider section of it, okay? The rider section of my burst guide, that's what's going to be relevant because we're not really playing Deathbringer that much this season, okay? You can play it, but you probably are just going to end up losing a ton of damage for it. For a little bit of extra burst damage, it's good in some comps. I like it with Frosty K Dev Evoker, but don't fall in the trap of playing the hero talent tree. That's not as good because dual wield rider is what 99% of people are playing right now and are going to be playing, okay? And you can trust me on that. The reason why? It buffs your Remorseless Winter damage, bro, and that's what a ton of your damage comes from. Now, dual wield gameplay. I want to show you some cool clips of just how the gameplay looks in Arena. I've been playing a lot. This is my main build I'm playing, and I'm probably going to be playing until the end of the season. So check it out, boys. Enjoy that. Now we're back. Two-hand, okay? We're gonna cover two-hand now that that's done. You guys saw those clips, pretty dope. We be one shot, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna put the two-hand on. Shit's sick, okay? Two-hand is not bad by any means, okay? But, it's not the go-to, okay? I like two-hand in comps that are very, very burst-focused. Alright, so what comes to mind? Enhancement Shaman Frosty K. Dev Evoker Frosty K. Shadow Priest Frosty K, right? These are all comps that really come to mind when I think of like one-shotty, like setup-based comps, okay? And the reason why I like the two-hand build is because it just gives you more obliterate damage, and that's just more burst, right? When you pop Pillar, your obliterates hit 30% harder, okay? Because of the Might of the Frozen Waste passive. So it's just an added extra damage to your obliterate on the go. But you lose a ton of sustained damage, okay? Dual wield does a lot more sustained damage than two-hand, okay? A lot more. So if you care about landing kills outside of your burst at all, you don't want to play two-hand because you're not going to be doing any of that with this build, okay? Now, in terms of talents, things do change, okay? Very slight things change. You take off Hyperpyrexia and you put it in Shattered Frost. That's the only thing that changes. I'm pretty sure this talent is bugged for dual wield, so it only does like main hands damage. So the Shattered Frost hits way less than you would expect it to. Two-hand gets to fully cash in on the value of this talent, okay? Because whenever you hit a 5-stack Frost Strike, right here, it's going to cleave to all targets around your main target. This can hit pretty hard. Like, imagine like a super fucking exaggerated scenario. You hit like a one-shot crit Frost Strike for 4 million on someone. Anyone around that target is going to get hit for 2 million. Or what is it? Actually, like probably like 2.2 million, a little bit more. So it can be good. It's something that really only matters during your burst because Shattered Frost is not going to add much sustained damage. But you know, that's what it is. Two-hand's fun. A lot of people like it. I like two-hand. I pushed rank 1 as two-hand last season, even though dual wield is meta. So there's a lot you can really finesse with on Frosty Kid for two-hand. Now, like I said before, the stats are the exact same. You just get 22% haste, and you get a ton of mastery first. You stay away from crit, okay? Except for the badge trinket. Now, for Runeforge, obviously you have one less weapon, so that means you get one less Runeforge, sadly. So, whenever you're playing two-hand, you just want to put on Razor Ice in your weapon. Now, the other option would be to put Fallen Crusader on your two-handed weapon. And don't get me wrong, this isn't bad. It's pretty good in some scenarios, some comps where you get a ton of obliterates and haste. But the reality of it is, 1, it's harder to play, and 2, I just don't think it does enough burst damage as the Razor Ice Shatter build. Because when you don't play Razor Ice, you don't really get to use Shattering Blade. Shattering Blade is insane. Frost Strike just kept getting a ton of buffs over the course of last season. So when you're not playing Shattering Blade, you're not getting full value out of those buffs. So yeah, you go Razor Ice on your weapon. Pretty much it. Now for a two-hand rotation, same thing as last thing I covered, okay? So for dual wield, it's the exact same thing. You're just going to be prioritizing Frost Strike. Except the only difference is during your Pillar of Frost, when you do go to use an Obliterate crit, it's going to hit a lot harder. Because two-hand has heavy-ass fucking Obliterate hits, okay? Now, I still think Frost Strike will hit way harder. But Obliterate, that's every global is a big hit for two-hand, you know? Dual Wield doesn't like the Obliterate procs as much as two-hand does. Dual Wield is all in on Frost Strike. Now, obviously, you still have to press those, so... But anyways, check out my burst guide for that if you want a really in-depth analysis and breakdown of the burst. So, now I'm going to show you guys some two-hand clips, because I do have some pretty cool clips. And I like playing it with Shadow Priest Frost DK, because you get PI from the Shadow Priest and a ton of CC on the go. It really lets you hammer in on the fucking go. Okay, so I get to play fully burst focus. Check it out. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, boys. Yo, that shit was crazy, bro. Wasn't that shit crazy? I'm telling you, I be fucking one-shotting with the two hands, bro. It's what I'm known for. But you know what? We love dual wield too. Shout out all the dual wield homies. It's all good. I'm gonna be playing a lot of that this season for sure. Now, arena comps, okay? So, as you guys saw in these clips I've been linking, playing a lot of different shit. For the top arena comps, I actually think Asa Frost DK. Asa Rogue Frost DK is really fucking good. A lot of people don't realize how much burst an Asa Rogue provides because it's dots and it's like kind of like a rot effect, but it's a lot of damage and it's a ton of micro CC on the go, which is perfect for Frost DK. You really want people completely shut down when you're doing your go to avoid any scenarios where they can get away from you. Because if they can get away, they can get away from all your damage. That's one comp. Asa Rogue Frost DK. The other comp, Windwalker DK. Windwalker DK is very standard. Always works if you know how to play it. And it has a ton of burst and has a ton of sustain damage. Plays pretty similarly to Asa Frost DK. He's still doing big 1 minute grip blind goes, except the monk has leg sweep unlike the rogue, so his stun's a little bit more effective. But he doesn't have the silences like the Asa Rogue does. So that's Windwalker DK. You can also play Enhanced Frost DK. Enhanced Frost DK is all about completely juicing up the Frost DK, okay? Getting a ton of damage modifiers on the Frost DK. I'm talking about Sky Fury Totem, or Totem of Wrath it's called these days. Talking about Bloodlust. Talking about Static Field Totem to keep them locked in, okay? You can even play with a Prez Evoker who can help you do a big go with his Deep Breath on your blind. You can play with the Disc Priest. It's a pretty decent comp, but it's very all or nothing, okay? So it's not the most beginner-friendly comp, but it's very fun. I'd recommend every Frost DK player to at least try that comp once, because it's a ton of fun. You just get all this fucking damage juiced in you, bro. It's hilarious. Now, Shadow Priest Frost DK also seems really good. Who would have thought? If the Shadow Priest plays Void Volley and they PI you on the go, it's a lot of fucking burst damage. The Shadow Priest themselves don't really one-shot, but they can help you one-shot harder than you've ever seen before, bro. And of course, you can play DHDK. DHDK, not bad. It's like Windwalker DK. I'd say you get a little bit more sustained damage for a little less one-shot. You know, pretty good comp. And of course, last of all, you can play TSG. I'm not really loving TSG this season, and for anyone who doesn't know, that's Warrior DK. The Spear is great. Spear's great for keeping people stuck in your go. You definitely want to play that if you're playing TSG. But I don't know, dude. I think Warriors are just really squishy. It definitely works, okay? I'm talking mainly at the higher ratings. So if you have a Warrior friend, you guys love the comp, you'll do fine on it. But I think you'd be better off with a Windwalker, for sure. And Windwalkers are just better right now. Same goes for the Asa Rogue. Now, that's pretty much it for the comps, but here's an important thing to note, okay? Very important thing to note. You want to play with Resto Shamans, okay? As often as possible, because they provide the Static Field Totem. So important this season. The Static Field actually helps you get full uptime during your burst, because you don't have to worry about them running away from you on the go or blinking out, because the Static Field Totem is going to pull them back into the go, and they're stuck in the fucking blender, okay? They also have Cap Totem. They have a talent where it double stuns. It's pretty fucking crazy. Another healer that's good is Preservation Evoker, because they have a Pressing Roar and Deep Breath, so they can add a stun to your whole team comp if your team comp's low on stuns. TSG likes that. Asa Frost likes that. Enhanced Frost likes that. So it's really good. And of course you can play it with a Windwalker too. So Prez Evoker and Arsham are what I would mainly be looking to play with. Now you don't need to play with them, but it makes it way easier, okay? Way easier, and sometimes it makes it just straight up better. So you don't need to play with them, if you have a buddy who's a holy paladin, you know, you can play with him too. But just remember, his usefulness on the go is just going to be Hajin the healer. He's not going to be able to help nearly as much as a Arsham or a Prez would help on the go. So it's just, it still works. It's just less forgiving for the Frost DK, right? The Frost DK has to work extra hard if he's playing with something that isn't an Arsham or a Preservation Evoker, because the goes need to be perfect. You need to basically be able to, you know, sack the fact that there's no fucking static field and just make perfect goes so that people don't run away from you. It's a lot harder, and it's just a bit worse overall in general. So that's the comps for you. Now I want to talk about racials, okay? Now this is actually really important this season. Okay, boys, it's really fucking important. Really, really fucking important. Because we have some options here that can totally help us with our Pillar of Frost situation, okay? Because normally you really can't move during your pillar. Even if you pop Death Charge, you're still slowed. Pop Wraith Walk, you're still slowed. And so all you can really do is grip people to keep them on you. But a lot of people don't know this. There are a couple racial abilities that actually work during the Pillar of Frost still, okay? It's pretty insane. So one of them is the High Mountain Tauren racial, okay? If you don't know what it is, it's called Bull Rush. You can charge forward, and it'll take you from like here all the way to here, and it will stun people in your path, which is good because we lost our Remorseless Winter stun, so you have an extra stun. You're mainly using it for the speed, but the little micro CC stun does help on the go. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like, okay? So look, you pop pillar, you walk really slow. Let's say the mage blinked away, you can bull rush to him during pillar, and look at that dash, bro. That's some huge fucking distance, considering that you're literally RP walking during your go, bro. So it helps a lot. Now, High Mountain Tauren has other racials that are really good. You have reduced damage taken. This is pretty minor, but it's the versatility stat that's really good. Where is it? Mountaineer, yeah, this one. 1% verse. Really nice to have. You know, just very passive thing, but mainly the charge. And it's a 2-minute cooldown. So what does that mean? You can use it once every 2 goes. So basically just hold it for a time where like you feel like you're getting kited out, and you might be able to salvage the go still. Now, as you may know, High Mountain Tauren is not the only race that has a movement effect attached to it. Goblins are also capable of doing that. They have the Goblin Rocket Jump. Pretty ironic for the fucking patch we're playing right now. It's completely Goblin themed. Their jump is pretty good too. It's on a 1.5 minute cooldown, and it takes you about the same distance as the High Mountain Tauren. But remember, it does not stun. So, you know, you're missing a stun, but you do get a shorter cooldown. But you don't really care about the cooldown because it's still a 1.5 minutes, which means you still can only do it once every 2 goes. Because Pillar of Frost, as you may know, is a 1 minute cooldown. So I prefer High Mountain, and it just feels really smooth to use. I feel like it's probably really easy to overshoot your rocket jump on Goblin. On High Mountain, you can actually cancel the Bull Rush mid-charge to stop halfway, and I'm going to show you what that looks like, okay? Remember when I showed you the first Bull Rush, I went from like here all the way to here? You can literally Bull Rush for a split second and cancel it with a macro, for a slash cancel or a Bull Rush macro, to stop halfway or instantly, okay? So watch this. Look, I just short dicked the Bull Rush, bro. So you have a lot of control over the movement on this so that you don't overshoot yourself, so you can like really precisely pinpoint where you want to dash to. So I like High Mountain way more than all the other options. Now, it's not required. I know a lot of people don't like Taurens. I didn't like Taurens at all. I, in fact, actually hated them, but it's been growing on me. I feel beefy as fuck, bro. Check it out. I hop on the fucking Rhino, dude. People are scared shitless, bro. They don't want to fuck with a Rhino and a fucking Moose at the same time, okay? So shout out the fucking Moose, bro. It's got our back, making sure our spec is going to be viable once again, boys. That's pretty much it for the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, make sure to fucking grease up that sub button. Drop a comment down below if you got any questions or if you enjoyed the video. You know, makes me feel good when I see those comments, so I appreciate that. And check out my Twitch stream, because that's where most of my content's at, is on twitch.tv/frostgodxeek. I stream literally like every day, and shit be going down on there. You know, you can ask me questions live there. You can also join the Discord. I'm gonna have the Discord link down below to the Xeek Sanctum. If you subscribe to my Twitch stream, you get access to all of my UI features, my add-ons, my add-on imports, my macros, and everything. So that's a sub-only benefit, but you know, anyone can join the Discord server and we can talk in there. You can ask me questions in there. I don't mind, boys. We can chat it up, keep it greasy, fellas. You know what it is. I'm out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace, 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 and I will grease y'all fellas later.
50 told me, go ahead, switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. The good life.